Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. Brian Winnekins at the 75th Annual NAFB Convention in Kansas City. And thank you to our broadcast sponsors, including DeKalb Asgrow Seeds, BASF, also the Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation, and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association. Speaking of the corn growers, we are with John Doggett. He is CEO of the National Corn Growers Association. Talk about some of the things going on in D.C., which has been a pretty big deal so far. And, John, thank you for joining us. Obviously, the trade issues, especially with China, have probably been on the top of everybody's mind.
Well, we're certainly happy that the situation with NAFTA and the new USMC agreement has been reached. That's an important market for us down in Mexico for corn. It's our biggest market. But the tariffs and the situation with China obviously is a big concern. We've lost the ethanol market there. That was becoming a very big market for us. So, we'd like to see these trade things wrapped up and get started on some new bilateral trade agreements.
That's the thing for at least the corn growers. It's kind of been a mixed bag, not like unlike the soybean growers where, yes, okay, we have the new NAFTA agreement, but soybeans weren't as big exported in North America like corn was to Mexico. So some good news and bad news really on that trade front.
Sure, the soybean folks lost that huge market in China, and that really has hurt them. And of course, almost all of our corn farmers are also soybean farmers. So obviously, the hurt spread a long ways around the country.
You mentioned that ethanol market that was really starting to grow in China. Is there a concern that we may not get that back because Brazil might want to step in and take that away like they're trying to do with soybeans?
Well, we've done this before. We've engaged in these retaliatory back and forth things, and generally agriculture has been a loser on those things. And you just go back to the Jimmy Carter grain embargo days when we lost markets that never ever came back. So we're very concerned about that.
Talking with John Doggett. He is the CEO of the National Corn Growers Association here at the 75th Annual NAFB Convention in Kansas City. John, let's move on to the Farm Bill, still stuck in conference. But with the election, the midterms now finally done, we'll have the lame duck session here. Are you hoping, what are you hearing on D.C., on the Hill? Is this going to get done?
I think it can get done. It needs to get done. The current bill expired. We've known for 5 years that she had a date that we need to get this farm bill done. We're at historically low prices across the country. We need a farm bill done. There's no reason to be holding back on this. The lame duck session has to produce a farm bill.
Meanwhile, some good news earlier this year, the administration allowing E15 sales. But it's almost kind of like the trade thing. It's a mixed bag. Okay, we're going to allow it for year-round, but the REN credits really haven't been addressed, and the waivers haven't been addressed.
Well, we do have the problem with the waivers, and when we destroyed 2.25 billion gallons worth of ethanol demand through the waivers that were granted, that's a real problem. And we have E15, but we don't have E15 yet. We have to have a rulemaking process that has to get done. And we really are hopeful that it gets done in time for retailers to be able to provide consumers with E15 next summer, in the summer of 2019. If that rule takes too long, we're going to miss the opportunity for that season.
Is that the big thing? Because the retailers are still kind of holding back here to add the pumps, add all of the infrastructure to this until they really know this is happening for sure.
They're telling us that once they know for sure, there's a bunch of them that are going to go ahead and start selling E15 year-round. But they have to have the certainty of knowing that they're going to be able to be legal come next summer.
That's John Doggett. He is CEO of the National Corn Growers Association. We're at the 75th Annual NAFB Convention in Kansas City. I'm Brian Winnekins for Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN.